they were not invited here to make sure that Sister Lisa invocation was a reasonable length. I think she did okay today. Before I start, I want to thank a number of individuals that helped make this day possible. First, thanks again to Rick for his support in allowing me to start this endeavor and name the scholarship for my mother. Next, as Rick mentioned, I want to thank the scholarship committee for their outstanding job and commitment. Would you all please stand, please? Susan Cass, Sister Lisa McGaffin, Nancy Moravec, Kitty Salta, and my wife Eileen. Thank you. To all the Many Mansion Service Department personnel who supported and guided the applicants through the process, I would especially like to thank Mama Bibi Rivas, or Mama to be, who supported this process and whom some of the recipients owe a bit of gratitude for her guidance. Thank you also to Jill Kramer, Mama to be, Carrie Jo Katz, and Sister Leanne, who couldn't be here. Without their help, today's program would not have been possible. By the way, Rick, is there any correlation between the increase in pregnancies and moving into the new building?
Got that romantic mood.
By the way, lastly, thank you to all your supporters and donors. We certainly could not have been fortunate to be here today honoring such wonderful individuals without you. Our first year, we awarded 8 scholarships, totaling $3,100. Last year, we granted 20 scholarships for $10,000. And this year, we're granting another 20 scholarships for $12,750. So we certainly could not have achieved this without your encouragement and financial support. So on behalf of Many Mansions, the Scholarship Committee, and personally Eileen and I, but more important, especially on behalf of these individuals sitting here, so thank you very much. Also among our guests today is Jose Ceja, last year's award recipient. But he could not attend the ceremony last year. So Jose, would you please stand up? And receive the applause that you should have gotten last year. And I hope to see you up here again next year. Okay. We also have some other special guests that are sitting up front here that you'll get to meet a little later on. This is another special day, so here we go. This is a special day for 20 well-deserving individuals. Timothy, Cindy, Maximilian, Ingrid, Luis, Noel, Daniel, Denise, Diego, Christian, Jocelyn, Claudia, and for the second year, Rosanna, William, Genesis, Misty, and Denise. And for the third year, Janet, Micah, and Alex. Vicky's Fund, for some of you who may not know the history behind this scholarship, in today's program is a brief explanation of why the Vicky's Fund was established and the inspiration behind it. But allow me once again, and some of you have been here for 3 years, so you may have heard this story, but the story can't change. The story is the story, so I will repeat it. At my mother's funeral in 2001, a number of individuals I didn't know came up to me and told me what an impact Mrs. Garcia had made in their lives. Many told me that this positive impact was because they knew she really cared about them. My mother had the ability to understand that when many of these children came to school, their minds and focus were not on schoolwork, but on survival. Many came from home situations that were either broken homes, abused, alcoholic homes, or were even homeless. So without prying into the reasoning, she set out to make each child feel that school was a safe haven and to build up their self-esteem and make them feel they had God-given talents. Needless to say, she succeeded and they loved her for it. One example of this of her kindness was this beautiful little girl who came to school. But due to her, I'm not there yet, but that's why I'm using it. You like this?
I do.
Anyway, but due to whatever she was experiencing at home, she hadn't spoken in 5 months. So finally, the principal asked my mom to take her under her wing, and within a very short time, she had the child speaking, interacting, and enjoying school. My mom's favorite phrase to her kids was, "You are special, and I know that you can do it." At the funeral, a man in his late 30s came up to me and relayed his story. He had recently been laid off from his job and was driving a cab to make ends meet. One day he picked up a fare and quickly realized that it was my mom, who was an aide in his classroom in either the 1st or 2nd grade. Although my mom didn't recognize him after more than 30 years, he told her that he never forgot her because during all of his schooling, she was the only one of all of his teachers and aides that he felt really cared about him unconditionally. As a side note, my mother was so valued at her school that when my father died and she no longer had a ride to work, her principal would pick her up in the morning. And then at night, a teacher would take her home. And this continued for every day, and my mother worked until the mid-80s. That's how much she was needed and appreciated all those years. And during all this time, she was a volunteer. She refused to get paid. She felt that she got more out of it than she gave. These are the testimonials that gave me the desire to honor her name, as well as help others continue their education. Today, I'm sure Vicki is looking down and beaming, not because these scholarships are in her name, but in the achievements and desires of these 20 outstanding individuals. If she could be here today, she would say, as she so often told her young students, "You have the ability, just try and don't ever give up, no matter how long it takes. And remember, we're here to help you to succeed." And finally, with each success, she would say, "Congratulations, I knew that you could do it." Last year, I quoted Maya Angelou, and it's just as appropriate this year. She once said, "You may not remember what you said, you may not remember what you did, but don't ever forget how you made me feel." I didn't know that Maya knew my mom. That's the end of my mom. Now it's me. Let me tell you my personal story. Okay? That's not bad. One.
It's good. No, it's good.
Getting better. Let me say that I know somewhat how you're feeling today. Here's a little bit about my story. I grew up on the Lower East Side of New York City. We lived in affordable housing, although it was called the tenements. We moved a lot and eventually settled in an apartment on the 6th floor of a walk-up building, meaning that there's no elevator. Now you have to understand that success in this environment is not moving up and moving down. And we succeeded twice in moving to the 4th floor and the 2nd floor. And with each move, it meant shorter trips, carrying groceries, carrying laundry, and carrying out the garbage. In this last apartment, we had 3 bedrooms. But don't let that fool you. These apartments are not what you might think. We lived in what was called a railroad configuration. That is, there are no hallways. You entered, you went from the bathroom to the kitchen, to the living room, to my mother's bedroom, to my bedroom, and my brother's bedroom. No doors. So obviously there was no privacy. And as I mentioned last year, my brother and I are 13 years apart, so that may have had something to do with it, with no doors situation. And we had no services like homework club, summer camp, food share, etc. And not quite Sesame Street either, which would have been called a luxury apartment neighborhood in my days. Now, back many years ago when I was a senior in high school, and I was the only one in my family that attended or graduated from high school, but college was not something that I thought would happen to somebody like me. But while I was sitting at my vocational high school graduation, in New York City, unbeknownst to me, there was a scholarship, the Generoso Pope Foundation, that gave us college scholarship to one senior in every school in New York City. And without applying for it, I was selected in my school to receive the scholarship. It was at that point that I said to myself, maybe I can go to college. I needed that encouragement, so I spent another year taking the required academic courses I didn't receive at the vocational high school, and eventually went on and graduated from college. There were many who helped and supported me along the way. My parents, grandparents, uncles, and my college baseball coaches had a big influence. I recently heard a radio comment quoting a Warren Buffett, who said, "Every time while I'm sitting and relaxing beneath the shade of a tree, I realize that someone years ago planted a seed." This metaphor certainly rings true for me and my scholarship experience. Your scholarship may or may not have that same impact, but something along your journey will. I'm telling you my story because I hope that this small scholarship will give you the pride and encouragement to continue with your educational goals. We know that you will be successful in your educational pursuit and your dreams of career, family, and community contribution will come true. Remember also that this scholarship is not the end. We, the Many Mansions family, including some of our outstanding volunteers, are here to help you and guide you with any situation in which you find yourself needing assistance, so feel free to call on us at any time. Now, enough about me, enough about my mom for a second. Let's talk about these individuals here. First of all, we have 20 terrific individuals. Of the makeup are, we have a husband and a wife, 3 sets of brothers and sisters, 2 Garcias, William and Cindy Garcia. Now, William didn't show up. So, Cindy, you're going to have to show up. Stand up for a second and tell the people here that you're not related to me, because we like accountability and transparency, okay? Thank you. As to the composition from our properties, we have 8 from Villa Garcia, 6 from Shadow Hills, 3 from D Street in Oxnard, 1 each from Bella Vista, Hillcrest Villas, and Essa Village. Their field of interest are wide: computer science, marine biology, business, sociology, psychology, science, military, graphic design, photojournalism, teaching, medicine, nursing, finance, economics, communication, and chemistry. A wide variety. As you're aware, our full scholarship award is $500. However, this year, because of your generosity and continued support, we have been able to increase somewhat the amounts of the award. For our first-time recipients, they will receive the $500 scholarship. For our second-year recipients, they will receive a $750 scholarship. And for our third-year recipients, they will receive a $1,000 scholarship. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to help these outstanding individuals a little bit more. Even with this, I'm still asked, why couldn't you award less scholarships and increase the monetary award? While we certainly would like to increase the amount of the award even more if we could, there is almost no way that we could have reduced the size of this scholarship class. Allow me to give you some examples of what was said or written by or on behalf of these individuals. I hope I don't embarrass anyone. I won't be using any names.